Welcome to LifePatch, your motivational voice to encourage you and remind you how great you are. Today's topic is on leadership. And there's a misconception that leaders are born and they are not made. I'll say that again. There's a misconception out there that leaders are born and they're not made. I'm sure from time to time you will hear comments like, "Oh, he is such a great speaker," or "She is such a natural speaker. They have the gift of speaking." And that's not true. Leaders are made. Leaders can be cultivated. Leaders can be trained. Leaders can be honed. Your speaking skills, your leadership skills, through conditioning, through courses, through training. You can be not just a good, but a great leader. The reason why people comment and assume and think that so-and-so is such a natural leader or speaker, etc. What we don't know is that person, their upbringing. They may have been conditioned through their environment, through their parenting, through friends, through schooling, to build up their leadership skills from childhood up all the way until you meet them. So then it appears as if it's natural to them, or quote unquote second nature. The biggest difference of a gift and a skill is this. A gift, if you're born 6'6", 6'8", that's a gift. You cannot train height. To be a good speaker, a great speaker, a leader, that can be trained and can be learned and improved over time through the right regimen and training. So I encourage you, you are a great leader. That lives inside of you. It can be trained, it can be birthed. For some, it may take longer than others, but you can do it. You can be a great speaker, a great leader. It may not flow, it may not come out the first couple of times, but don't give up. You don't have to worry about being exactly like someone else. Be yourself. Be who you are. Speak like you. Lead like you. You will learn from others. Take the top traits and attributes from someone else, from other people, and become a composite of those around you, your mentors, those that you aspire to be. At the same time, don't lose that DNA of what and truly represents who you are. Today, there are some very convicting statistics why we need more leaders, especially leaders of faith, leaders of the community, to lead positive changes, to evoke and to project love and grace. In the past 10 years, about every year, 4,000 churches have to close down. The churches in the United States, they are dying out. With every 4,000 churches that close, about 1,000 churches open each year. That's a very easy math. So if every year around 4,000 churches close and 1,000 churches open, you see where that's going. According to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, on average, 121 suicides occur per day in the United States. 121 suicides occur on average per day in the United States. As many of us know, divorce rates are insane. About 40 to 50% of married couples end up in a divorce. Statistics says every 36 seconds, roughly, there is a divorce that occurs in the United States. I'm going to share with you the 7 C's of leadership. C's as in cat. For example, just to make sure we're not talking about the ocean as in seas, like the ocean. So what are these 7 C's of leadership? Before I get going on that list, let me ask you, when you think of a good leader, who do you think of? What makes a good leader to you? From your observation, from your experiences? Because leadership, it's not a part-time gig. It's not an off or on button. Not off or on. It is a lifestyle. Leadership is a lifestyle that is a part of you wherever you go. And so whenever given a situation and you need to trigger that leadership in you, you will trigger it at will. Just like a parent. If you have a child, you're not a part-time dad or mom. You're not just a mom from 8 until 2 p.m. You are a mom 24/7. And just like a leader, you are a leader inside of you that's a part of you 24/7. The 7 C's of leadership. First, Christ-centered. You must be Christ-centered. And what that means is Christ has to live in you. Jesus Christ must live in you. Now, okay, if you're not a Christian, if you're not a follower of Jesus Christ, the point is, what is your pivot point? Your leadership, your existence must pivot on something. And that something that it pivots on must be of good morals and value. And I encourage you to consider Jesus Christ in terms of Him and His values. And what are those? They are faith, hope, the turning the impossibles to possible. They are grace, love, forgiveness, perseverance. So the first C is Christ-centered. The second is character. You must have character. And what that means is being honest, consistent, genuine, have integrity. The best definition that has come to me in terms of what integrity is integrity is somebody, if it comes down to it, you would rather do what's right than be liked. Third C, compassion. Be a compassionate person. That means practice and live empathy, sympathy. Have self-awareness of yourself, of your surroundings, and of others. Caring. The fourth C, communication. To be a leader, to be a great individual that makes an impact, you must be able to listen. That's why you have 2 ears. And communicate your thoughts. And focus on effective communication. For example, if you're struggling with somebody in terms of communicating, rather than dictating your style, you seek to understand the other person's style. For example, you can say, "Hey John, what is the best way, or how do you prefer to best communicate with you?" If it's text, email, phone call, live, meet in person, that way that person can take the ownership by telling you how he or she prefers communication. And if they don't, then they can be held accountable because they've told you, they've informed you that, for example, texting is their preferred method. The fifth C, be creative. Be creative. Us humans, we are creatures of creativity. Why? Because our Creator, God, is a creator. And He made us to be similar in His image. And part of that is that He has given us, human beings, the ability to be creative. So be creative in your approach, in your thinking, in your understanding. Sometimes if you're not sure about doing the right things, take a step back. Many times it's not so much about having the knowledge or knowing what to do, but rather knowing what questions to ask. If you ask the right questions, it will usually lead you to doing the right things. The sixth C, commitment. Commitment. That means like a promise to yourself, honoring yourself to follow through and to work through it, whatever goal or role or responsibility that you have, you ought to be and you must be committed to it. Now, there's a difference between interested and committed. When you are interested, that usually means short-term or temporary. When you are committed, that is long-term or permanent. The number 7, the seventh C, continuous learning. Leaders love to learn. Leaders love to learn and to grow because they realize that everybody has a blind spot, and they are focused on self-improvement continuously, because leadership, success, and so forth, it's not a destination, but it's the journey of growth, because growth is success. We're going to fall, we're going to make mistakes, and there's no such thing as failing as long as you learn. My encouragement to you is you cannot fail as long as you keep going. You either win or you learn. Seek mentors and seek mentees, because when you learn from a mentor and then you practice that and then you lead others, that just reinforces your learning. That's why it's so important to seek mentors and seek mentees and make that difference. It is amazing to give the gift. That's the gift of knowledge, the gift of encouragement, the gift of love, of grace, of hope. And make learning your lifestyle. Make learning a part of your lifestyle. Now, what are some pitfalls? Some pitfalls to leadership. There are many of them, but the top 8 I'll share with you. First is when you're trying to do everything yourself, when you're trying to do things yourself, refusing to delegate. As a leader, you must learn the art of delegation. And the art of delegation, one simple way to put it is, when you delegate, it should not end with a question mark. It should end with a period. For example, rather than saying, "Can you take this to the post office?" you delegate by saying, "I need your help. I need you to take this to the post office. I need you to help set up this." That's delegation. The second thing, pitfalls. This is what I call going from 0 to -1. And then after this, I'll share with you how to go from 0 to 1. When you focus too much on the task instead of the goals. Number 3, imitating others. Again, as I said briefly earlier, you have your own uniqueness, your own DNA. Be you. Yes, learn from others, but be you. When you try to duplicate and be exactly like someone else, you may suffer and go through more pain and more internal criticism than you expect, because you're trying to be just like someone else. You may be similar to them, but you're still going to be you. The fourth pitfall, when you miss out on early wins, whatever position or opportunity or project you have at work, ministry you're leading, is you want to focus on winning some small wins at the beginning, and that's understanding people, understanding their drivers, building that partnership, building that fellowship, understanding the vision, the goal, and then how to articulate that vision. Number 5, refusing to make decisions. As a leader, as an individual, you ought to learn how to be comfortable with making decisions, even tough ones, even those that you have little information on, because sometimes you don't have time. And so you will have to make that decision based on the available data and information at that time. We hear this from time to time. The worst decision is indecision. The decision to not make a decision. Because if you don't, something else is going to decide for you, and chances are you may not like it. Number 6, making promises you can't keep. If you can't really make a promise, it's okay to say, I'll do my best. Number 7, when you fix or solve too quick. For example, as a leader, and as you continue to grow and learn, and you talk to someone, say they are a junior, and they're trying to explain to you their thoughts and their concerns. Even though you know where they're going, it's best to practice to give them the time to listen to them and to have them walk it through themselves at times, so that you don't jump in to fix or to solve them or their issues too quick. Many times people gain loyalty through the feeling that they are understood. Number 8, you can't try to please everybody. You are guaranteed to not get there, or in a way, failure. One way for sure is if you try to please everybody, because everybody is diverse in their thinking, their thoughts. So stay true to you. Stay true to the subject matter. Now, 0 to 1. How do you go from 0 to 1? As a leader or learning to be a leader, first step is you must be a good follower. You have to follow and have a sense of direction towards someone who you aspire. So find a mentor, ask. Number 2, define and understand what a leader is. How do you define leadership? And then listen, learn, and apply. Listen, learn, and apply. Going from 0 to 1, third step. What's the golden rule and the platinum rule? You ought to learn these two and practice them. The golden rule, many of us should know, and that is to treat others like how you want to be treated. Treat others like how you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. The platinum rule is to treat others like how they want to be treated. And that's very important, because some people are in unique situations. So we can't just treat them how we would like to be treated. Because given the example, if somebody was born with a birth defect, or they were handicapped from some accident early on, how would we truly know what they're going through? And you have to ask that question, because some people, they've gone through a unique journey, and we have to respect that, and we have to honor that, and to treat them good and treat them in the way that they want to be treated. Number 4 is don't confuse being liked with being respected. Being liked with being respected. Two different things. As a leader, you may not be liked, and that's okay, so long as people respect you. And how? Because you know you're doing what's the best thing to do and the right thing to do. Number 5, learn your team, learn your colleagues, what triggers them, their personalities, and then lead them to the vision. Don't just be a person or a leader that hands out tasks, because if you are a person that just dictates and give out instructions and tasks, then what you're doing is, yes, you'll be creating perhaps good followers, but a leader births and creates other leaders. And how do you do that? One way of doing that is to show them the goals or the vision, and then allow them to focus on the how. Allow them to figure it out, to take that ownership. And I'll wrap this up with a quick scenario. Imagine this. Imagine I come to you and I show you a picture of two squares, two exact same size, and they are squares, but nothing on it. And I say, I need you to build this. Your first reaction is, build what? You're going to be confused. You're going to be unsure, uncertain. And if I don't give you any other information or show you any other diagrams, you're gonna, in a word or less, be a lost sheep in that process. You're going to turn these squares into anything else that shapes like a square. However, now if I come to you and I show you a picture with squares and rectangles and with a bit more detail, with windows, with a roof line, with a chimney, with a name, and it's called house, or one that's called church, or another one that's called school. Now you have a better idea. You see the windows, you see the front doors, you see the porch, you see the garage. Now you have a much better idea of what that vision is. So don't show people two squares. Show them the vision in as much detail as you can, and then allow others to use their creativity to take ownership and figure out the how, because they may end up surprising you and giving you something else to consider. Thank you for listening. You are awesome. Don't give up. Keep on learning. Keep on growing. And until next time, have a blessed day. Stay hungry.